Todd Monken talks in about 15 minutes. We'll do some live break-ins while he's talking to discuss some of the stuff that he has said already. We'll do our full reaction tomorrow. But yesterday, Denzel Ward caught up with Mary Kay Cabot in a nice exclusive one-on-one interview. You should read the full article on Cleveland.com. Support Mary Kay. But
I would say Mary Kay caught up with Denzel more than Denzel catching up with Mary Kay.
Good clarification. But there was one bite or one sound bite, one quote from that article that really stood out to me, and I wanted to ask you guys a question about that right now. Denzel Ward told Mary Kay about Todd Monken and his offense, quote, "I'm just looking forward to us having an amazing offense. We kind of struggled on that end of the field when we were out there during the season, but just looking forward to playing better and all of us playing better together and looking forward to him being our new head coach." Tyvis, how good does the Browns offense have to be in year one under Todd Monken, combined with what we think the defense could be based off what it was last year, to have the Browns in playoff contention in 2026?
Oh, at least middle of the pack. I mean, even with Kevin Stefanski's offense, when they were middle of the pack, they still was able to make the playoffs. So, essentially, if you get back to middle of the pack, with that defense playing the way that they played, that should be good enough. I think the thing with the Browns is if they catch a lead, they have the ability to hold on to that lead if the defense is playing lights out. I just think that it was at various points of the season where the defense just was worn out because you wasn't getting nothing from the offense, and it was at a point where 20 was the number. If the defense gave up 20 points, game over, ball game. It was times after 2 touchdowns, it was ball game. If you got an offense that's putting up points, that always motivates the defense. So to me, Denzel is right. Obviously, you want to have a great offense. If they get middle of the pack, to me, I think they put them back in the playoff contention. Obviously, they got some pieces that they got to find to be able to keep that offense.
Yeah, what are the odds that they're going to get there?
But you know what?
Year?
I'm not going to doubt it because I told you when Todd Monken first went to Baltimore, I said it's not going to work year one. It's going to take some time.
Yeah, but he had Lamar Jackson.
I understand that. You're right. He did.
Yeah.
But yet that offense still looked good, so I'm not going to doubt the man.
It's not about that. Go ahead, G.
Look, you got to have players, right? So let's look at it from a standpoint. It's not an all or nothing hypothesis, right? You got to have ball players. You got to upgrade these receivers. You got to upgrade the offensive line. You got to get better in the run game. You got to get better quarterback play. You got to eliminate turnovers. All those things are equal. But I just seriously don't think people understand. My beef with Kevin Stefanski's offense doesn't just stem from last year. My beef with Kevin Stefanski's offense goes back 3 calendar years. When you watch their offense on tape, there is nothing that I would see on tape if I was a defender that would threaten me in the least bit. And what I mean by that is they are running basic. It's not, it's basic, it's all basic. Like, I'm like, man, look at this little boot. Like, when he was really rolling, they was running screens and bootlegs with Baker Mayfield. Like, then they was running the ball. They were like, okay, we're going to go with these 3 tight ends. I would watch the tape with Tyvis and be like, man, they got a tight end split out on a corner. Do you understand corners is not threatened by tight ends? They're going to sit there and look at you like, bro, you can't get off this line of scrimmage. I'm a corner. You a tight end. What you even doing out here? Some of the stuff that Kevin was running, I'm like, this is high school. It's basic. It's vanilla. You turn on the tape and see other people during the 4 o'clock game, and you're like, how is this dude wide open? They got guys running around. You see the Rams combinations, dudes be crossing and everything just moving around. And I'm like, I don't know. Now, look, you got to have players too, but if Todd Monken could come in and just give me 3 or 4 or 5 plays where he going to isolate somebody and give somebody a free release, or he going to dial up a play where he be like, yeah, I've been watching y'all on film for about 4 weeks doing this. I'm going to give y'all this little wrinkle, and we're going to get 10 yards. This is a gimme route right here. Those are the things that I want to see that I just didn't see all the time and readily available for the Cleveland Browns. So to me, I want to see what it looks like when you got a guy who's creative, that's willing to, adapt to what's around him. But they got to get better players too. Don't come out here to talk. By the way, don't tell me about no defensive players. Under no circumstances, on a snapback, Tyvis, we're not drafting no defensive players in the top 10.
You don't want David Bailey?
I don't want none of them dudes. We need an offensive lineman and a receiver.
Arvell Reese.
So there's 2 questions here. The first question is where do Mike's initial question, how good does the offense have to be for them to get to be a playoff contender? Yeah, middle of the pack. You're right. I agree. Now, I would be surprised if the defense took a little bit of a step back this year. I'm not saying they're going to be bad, but I don't expect them to be as good as they were last year with a new defensive coach. I think a little bit of a step back wouldn't surprise me. The offense really can't be any worse, so I guess it'll be better. But for them to be a playoff team, they have to be middle of the pack. And that's not like a Super Bowl contender, but a team that can make the playoffs. But the other question is, what are the chances that the Browns can be middle of the pack offensively? And I would say that's less than 5%.
Less than 5?
The Browns, as of now, have arguably the worst talent on offense. Is there a team with worse talent on offense?
Tennessee Titans.
Are you sure they have less talent?
Yeah, I don't like
Not
that.
100% sure.
Okay.
But they got a lot going
I mean, okay, so they're tied for 31st in least amount of talent. Is there a team? Is there another team with less talent? Anybody, Mike? Anybody got a team with less talent than the Browns on offense?
Let me see. Offensively, the Jets.
Garrett Wilson.
The Jets have Garrett Wilson. They
We got
have.
Harold Fanning.
He ain't as good as Garrett
I mean,
Wilson.
the Titans.
He can fit, he played 17 games.
They did this year.
Let me
Buckeye
see.
slander from you. I'm not used to that.
Let me
The
see.
Titans is the only one I could think of.
But are the Titans definitively worse than the Browns? How are they worse?
I like Judkins more than I like any running back.
Tony
over
Pollard?
there.
Don't you like Cam Ward better than anybody that you have here?
Oh, I thought you were just talking like skill position wise.
No, I'm talking about the entire offense, top to bottom. Not just skill
Man,
position.
they're
There's
both-
no argument. You can't
No.
definitively make an argument that the Browns are better than anybody on offense. You can't. Not realistic.
Okay.
The Jets and Titans.
I can say the same thing about the Titans.
Okay.
But
We'll take your.
Okay.
We're tied for
to
30.
get from 31st or 32nd, even if I gave you the Jets, which I don't agree, but even if they're 30th, to the middle of the pack will be very hard. The Browns at the moment have two legitimate starting players out of 11 spots on offense. Two. Harold Fannin and Quinshon Judkins. Nobody else on this team
Judy's
is a legitimate
starter.
starter.
He's
right
not a
now.
receiver one, but he's a starter.
Okay, Jerry Jeudy, you're right. He's a legitimate starter. That's three players. They have zero elite level starting players as of right now. Is that fair to say?
Offensively?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So when you have zero elite level starting players and only three starting players, one of which is a guy we all hate in Jerry Jeudy because he was terrible last year, the amount of talent, like Todd Monken may end up being the right coach. He may do a great job in the long term. But the odds of him getting enough talent on this team to go from the basement to middle of the pack in 1 year is really hard. Maybe I'm over the top with less than 5%. Maybe it's 10%. But that's not, you guys know this. It's not, they have to fill so many holes. There's just so much a coach can do.
You know what you sound like?
Yeah.
Me 3 weeks ago. When I was going over why this job, nobody would take this job. Because you could just go into this season knowing that it's not happening this year. So that leaves you down to one more year. And you got to hope that they hit on picks.
Right now, if you say 2 years from now, could they be middle of the pack? Okay, I think that's a little more reasonable because now you have 2 off seasons to fix up. There's just too many holes to fill.
You saying it
and
like
Todd Monken's not a miracle worker. He may
saying
be
it
a good
like
coach.
we disagree with you.
No, yeah.
We know this. I said this.
Oh,
I
okay.
already said this.
So what's your percentage?
All he asked me was where did I think the offense needed to be? I said middle of the pack.
Agreed. So what's your percentage that they can get there this year?
They probably gonna hit on like 2 players in the draft and still got a lot to fix.
So it's 10%?
So about there, something
Okay.
like that.
G, you're higher than that?
I'm more optimistic than
Okay.
you. 15.
15, all right.
Here's where I think if you get some development, right? If you develop guys, I mean, now you can't say everybody gonna develop because somebody, for every 2 or 3 guys that you might get to hit under Todd Monken, some might regress because it's just a different system. For me, I would give him 25% chance to be there because if I'm hoping that the guys that I got in Fannin, the guys in Judkins, and if I can get the quarterback play to where the quarterback is now playing at competent football, starter level football, I think that you can look at this thing and say, okay, there's a few games that we could have won if we had certain things fall our way. So I do believe if you can get that's why this draft is imperative. And not only just the draft, it has to be free agency. It has to be project stockpile. Like, because you can't just sit around and say, okay, well, we're going to draft a guy. I know you're going to take him high, but you got to fill in infrastructure pieces with veterans that can play.
I think trades
might
be more important than even free agents.
I do, yeah.
Because you're more likely to be able to get, a good wide receiver or something or even a guard, maybe that way rather than free agents.
Especially on the offensive line. Like, I sometimes we be hearing we're going to draft some linemen, but listen, offensive linemen struggle as rookies, man.
Often,
so you can't just say we're going to plug this dude in as a first round pick.
Can't play three rookies next year.
No.
Yeah.
They have to stockpile that and backlog these different guys up front. And being Tyvis about this receivers. Hey, look, man.
3 of 4.
You might. I wouldn't mind jumping back in to one of them rounds.
I said that too.
I wouldn't mind if there's a dude.
4 dudes
like
so far.
So I'm gonna jump.
Dudes.
I might jump back in to get me another receiver.
Yeah.
And if you can start to do things like that, because right now the Browns don't have nobody on the outside. Think about it. You can get a guy who's a 50-50 guy, or a guy you could throw a screen to, or a guy you could just say, I'm going to throw a jump ball up there. The Browns don't have none of those. Like, they don't have a player where you could throw it to on a quick screen and get you 10 right now.
The problem is they went out and got guys who have the body types to be that, but that's not. They're not that.
And they need
Cedric Tillman essentially should be unbelievable in the red zone. It should be 50-50.
But instead he's basically a useless player.
He's not. Yeah. He has not lived up to what you thought. But he was a 3rd round pick. Right. So what did you think he was?
Well, he's supposed to get a good player. Like in the 3rd round, you should get a starter. No.
I mean,
not a superstar, but you should get a starter.
Sure.
Yeah.
He starts.
Only because they have no other options. He wouldn't start.
He said it like he not a starter. He starts.
He wouldn't be a starter on 25 teams, 28 teams.
They got to
lower their. I'm
going to tell you why. When Cedric Tillman had that run where he went like 4 games where he was scoring in a row with James.
Right. I gave you some optimism.
That was when everybody was like, oh, we might got something. Then I think he got hurt.
Yeah. It
was like, oh, well, when he gets back healthy, blah, blah, blah. And it just has not been that.
The only way the Browns will be a top 15 offense next year, in my opinion, is if they get way better quarterback play than they've been getting and that we may expect, or at least you or I may expect. I don't know. Like, if Shador's the starter, he's got to be a top 20 quarterback next year.
Yeah.
That's, and I'm not saying top 10.
No, yeah.
For them to be competitive, he's got to, because, they got a good running back.
Yeah.
And he's going to, because even if he plays really well, he's still going to have to overcome maybe a lack of receivers, certainly some holes on the offensive line. You can't fill 5 holes in the offensive line in 1 year.
He's at least shown the ability to overcome some bad offensive line play, which he's used to because he did it at Colorado and he did it last year.
And even with that.
So if I'm the Browns, even more reason why I'm going to get them wide receivers, because I know he can at least buy me some time.
And honestly, my opinion right now is he's not good enough yet. I don't know if he will be. I know some people think he will be. We'll see. Jury's out for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not confident he's going to be a top 20 quarterback next year. Are you confident he'll be a top 20 quarterback next year?
I can see it.
You can see it?
Did
you bet on it?
Would I bet on him being a top 20 quarterback and year 1 of Todd Monken's offense? I need to see the pieces first.
Okay.
Let me
That's fair.
Ask me that at the end after the draft.
If they want him to be a top 20
McNuggets, book that. Mark that down. Ask me, would Shador be a top 20 quarterback after the draft?
They have to be aggressive. The same way they got aggressive on the defensive side of the football. When the aggressive move last year was we're gonna get Malik Collins, we're gonna go draft, we're gonna draft Mason Graham, we got Tyson Campbell, we're gonna sign right. All those them aggressive moves that they was doing, somebody better get aggressive on the offensive side.
And they've got to get it right in the draft like they did last year, but at different positions that they've struggled at.
Now, so that's all fair.
Yeah.
Because they ate the Jamari Thrashes, the David Bell, the Anthony Schwartz, the Cedric Tillmans. Them has been Minimowski.
Yeah.
You've got nothing for those receivers. So you're going to have to get, and trade might be a value. Andrew Berry, you might want to get that checkbook out. Deshaun Watson is spending that money over in Europe. You might want to refinance that bag again. The bag needs to be refinanced. He's spending that Europe money. I need to get some more money so I can get and stockpile this roster. But if you want him to be top 20, and Todd Monken is coming in here, I best believe he said, hey, look, you want me to take the job? There's a quarterback room. Here's what we're going to have. I need me some playmakers.
They need 2 legit wide receivers, and they need, honestly, 4 or 5 offensive linemen. Now, I don't know if you could fill all those holes. Like, the odds that you could fill all of those things in 1 year is
You're not going to do it.
You're not gonna do
I
it.
think you would have to. You'd almost have to do what Cincinnati did. Get the receivers and try to get the line as you go. But you got to hit the receiver, which is why I keep saying that 6, because that's me and G. Bush continue to do these breakdowns. That's why I know we need a tackle, and I know that it's thin. But them wide receivers ain't what you think they are.
Nah, like, they tell
it's
you
4 of them. I'm telling you, it's 4 of them, and maybe 1 might make it to 24.
Them receivers ain't gonna be there like that. They gassing you on these. Man, it's a lot of Isaiah Bond in some of these receivers.
I don't want that.
I'm telling you, right? Like, and so I need a bona fide starter. Like, where if I can,
3 of them.
If I get one of them and trade for another frontline receiver, I tell Shador Sanders, hey, listen, you might be running around a little bit this year.
Hey, here's what it is.
Yeah,
Here's
because
what it is.
if you're gonna draft a receiver high, if you want to get a really good receiver in a trade, you got to give up the 24th pick.
Got to.
At the very least, the 2nd round pick. So then, whatever you take the other pick, the high 2nd or the late 1st, you draft an offensive lineman there.
You telling me that they're going to get Brian Thomas with the 24th pick? Like, they're going to trade it back?
I would do it.
Hypothetically
I don't know if Jacksonville would do that.
No, hypothetically speaking,
Yeah.
if you could get Brian Thomas or Marvin Harrison with the 24th pick,
I would do it.
I would take Mekhi Lemon with the 6th pick.
Why does it change who you take at 6?
Because Mekhi Lemon's a slot.
He's a slot.
And he
He's a slot
nice.
receiver.
He nice.
Would the slot receiver you go at 6?
He
runs
nice.
Is he Tyreek Hill nice? That's not fair.
No, he ain't fast, but he's crafty, boy.
Right.
That boy
He's crafty.
nice.
But he's just,
That's a football player
he's
right
one
there.
of them dudes. He's one of them dudes that the Steelers draft and then kill you for 10 years.
Yeah, he nice.
So you would have
Out of our
have
series, he's
Lemon,
been the best film we've
Judy,
seen.
and then either Thomas or Harrison. Like, I can go to work with
That's
that.
a hell of a core.
I could win with that.
Oh, and then you got
You know?
Harold Fannin too? Oh, yeah, we
And
can
then
roll
you
with
spend
that.
your 2nd and 3rd round picks on offensive line.
Sure.
And then go sign a couple other offensive
And,
linemen.
and then pray DeJuan Jones can play 5 games.
Paid DeJuan,
That's a lot of
Tevin
praying.
Jenkins, and Luke Whippler. I roll it with that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
boy.